Bong, that means we are live. We got the audio cue. Jared Lawrence has a cowboy shirt on. All is right in the world, is what I'm saying. It's PNL Live. We're going over NCAA wrestling. Jared, look, first of all, I love that. I love that Poplizio puts on he's always kind of trying to push the envelope in terms of his events. And these collegiate duels were really, really interesting. Like, if you're a real wrestling fan, yeah, I know you want to see Penn State versus Iowa. Everyone wants to see the marquee, but there was some really, really interesting matchups at this collegiate duels, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of wins and losses, man. A lot of upsets. There's a couple people, man. They took a hard weekend. Like, we're talking ranked number one.
You want to talk about Cole Matthews?
Yeah, Cole Matthews. How about Camacho?
That's a
Camacho
tough
lost
go.
3 times, I think.
That's a tough go.
In one ranking, he's ranked number 1, and he just got beat 3 times. He's no longer
in a weekend,
yeah,
not in a season. In a weekend,
yeah,
that's brutal. Cole Matthews
him and Cole Matthews, they took a hard weekend. They must have cut weight wrong. Just, whatever.
I don't even know if it's that. I mean, it's just, first of all, the 2 weight classes that we're talking about are probably the most chaotic, right? Like 25 especially.
25 is a disaster, man. Like, ranking. Like, number 20 might win nationals.
Seriously. That's bananas.
It could happen.
Absolutely.
Just 1 through 20, 1 through probably 25, all have a chance to All-American this year.
Wild.
They all have the potential.
Sure. Wild.
I mean, good luck trying to seed that sucker. Woo!
Yeah, for sure. But again, so I don't know that it's like we can blame it on their preparation. I just think that those 2 weight classes are so up in the air. Like, I think Real Woods has kind of separated himself a little bit.
Yeah.
But with the exception of that, you throw those weight classes up in the air 10 times, they come down in a different order just about every time. I mean, yeah. I don't think I'm crazy to say. Now, you were bringing up Figueroa.
Yeah. Well, Figueroa at the beginning of the year was ranked number 1 for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then right now they have him like down to 17.
It's a tough go.
But he only had 3 matches. You know what I mean? He did take a loss, but he lost to like a top 10 guy or a top 15 guy. So yeah. I just, who knows?
It's wild. Another thing that you mentioned off air that I think should be spoken about a little bit more is Little Rock, dude. I mean,
yeah,
that's
super impressive. I mean, when did they become a program? How long ago? Was it like
7 years?
6, 7 years ago?
Something like that. Yeah.
Like, not like, hey, we got a new coach.
No.
Where it takes 5 to 6 years to develop what you want.
Yeah.
This program just got instated.
Yeah.
Like, it just became a program.
Yeah.
So they are doing wonderful things, man.
So I actually spent some time out there, believe it or not. Like, I'm one of the few people that was
Arkansas.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, because it was so close to Texas, I was like, well, yeah, I'll just bring the family with me, right? We'll drive there, and Flo wanted me to do like some content. Neil was kind enough to open his doors to us. And dude, we had an absolute ball. My whole family we stayed in downtown Little Rock, and we took scooters all around. And first of all, that's the fun side of things, but also they've got a standalone facility.
And I heard it's amazing.
Dude, it's really nice. 4 full freaking mats, Airdynes, a row of Airdynes, row of treadmills, weight room, sauna. Like, it's really, really nice. And from what I understand, obviously I do not have access to their checking account, but they have as much money as like a lot of
they
these.
have some funding. Good for
They
them.
have funding.
Yeah.
Like I mean, so it's
they're doing wonderful things.
dude, Neil is crushing it, man. He's absolutely crushing it. What else? What other takeaways do we have from Pitt? Tell me what your thoughts are on Pitt, because
they're all over the place.
Right, because there are times that I'm like, holy shit, these guys can contend for a trophy this year, and then sometimes I'm like, they stink.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. They're just super inconsistent where they're like doing great, but then all of a sudden, like they're close, and then they're doing good, and maybe it's some of those young guys, right? Like Camacho, but he just beat somebody.
Yeah, he had a nice little W. But let me ask you this though: have you ever been a part of a team like that? Like you guys at Minnesota were always pretty darn consistent. Have you ever seen?
When I was there, we were, it was like we were top 3 for like 9 straight years.
Right.
So we didn't have the inconsistency, but we'd wrestle some teams that would, and some of it's how you match up, right? When you're talking duels, you know what? You could have an unbelievable team, and it just the way the matchups work, you ended up only winning two matches of the duel. Now you have maybe 3 other top ranked, like 5th in the country guys that always win 2, but then they get beat in those duels because they're wrestling like the number 2 guy. And maybe that's what it is, and I haven't broke it down, but like here Iowa State is a very solid team, and it was like 21-14, man. That's a great duel.
That's a great duel.
But so that would be my thing, is that they've done really well with some matches, and then a little bit inconsistent at times.
Yeah, I think
they have it. They got the ability to pull it through.
No kidding. Do you think that there's something to be said for depth at some of those weight classes? Like for instance, I know it means a little bit less it means a little bit less at a high school level, but having, we have freshmen that we can put in at a high school level that can compete. I'm not saying that they're going to win, right? But like Poway's wrestling at the Hall of Fame duels right now. And, we wanted to save Sasha Kikanu. And so we put a freshman in against, D. Lockett. And Darian Lockett's pretty darn good. But like Bailey Holman, to his credit, as a freshman at 165 pounds, like that's not typical, number one. Yeah. But number two, he went out there and punched the kid in the face. Like that's not, you don't get points for punching him in the face, but you do get experience, and you do. So I wonder if sometimes like Pitt struggles with finding depth, and it's not just Pitt. Like I'm not just saying it's Pitt. Finding depth at some of these weight classes to push the guys in the room, number one, but also maybe sometimes you can put somebody out there and give a guy a break. Okay. And you don't have to like rely on your top 10 guys every single match. Is that a crazy thought?
Yeah. And it could just be like some people aren't peaking right now, right? They're like slowly climbing, and then we're going. It's like I'm looking at like Pittsburgh, Pitt versus Little Rock, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just look at that. I mean, Colton Camacho, he's unranked, but he did just beat Cornell.
Right.
He just had a huge win, right? So he's got the ability to do well. He's just not ranked. Vinny at 33, he's ranked 16. Cole Matthews is 11 at the next weight class. Then you have 49. You got Finn. Sure. I mean, you keep going all the way down. They have a ton of ranked people. Just they're ranked between 10 and 20. A ton of them. They have a ton of people ranked
between 10 and 20. That's the operative, right?
4, 5, 6. They got 7 people ranked in basically the top 20.
Right.
Like those people just need to just turn the corner a little bit, and you're hunting. You're hunting.
Yeah. Yeah, but
So
that's tricky because top 10, round of 12 doesn't get you a cup of coffee.
yeah,
You
what
know,
you
I
need
mean,
to get in the top 10, you need a finalist
yeah.
in the NCAA realm, which is why we need a duel. We need a duel tournament. That'd be super fun.
Don't even, dude, like, we all
Otherwise,
agree.
otherwise, here's the problem. You can have a solid team. Take Pitt, for example. They have a very solid team. They have
Sure.
7 people ranked in the top 20.
Right.
Right? Some of those are, 8, 10, 11.
Whatever.
Right? Those are all solid. But at the national tournament, you have one guy that makes the finals. He basically wipes all those. So even though you have a very solid team of
Front to
7
back.
people in the top 20, you're down in the 20s. And if you get one national champ, you're basically hunting around 13th place.
Right. That's just 25 points.
Yeah.
Maybe
it'd be a little bit more. You might.
Yeah, but like but you're talking about a little bit more, but you're saying that's 2 wins on the back end for your 25 pounder who's going to be round of 12, right? So it's like, yeah,
you could have 2 people. You could have a team of 3 people, and at the NCAA, the way they run that national tournament, you could have 3 solid people that take that are top 4, right? And you're now in the top 10, and then you have a 100%. Team that has 7 quality guys, and you're way down.
Yeah,
it's just the way it works. It's just different.
A different metric. No, I get it. Okay, so what are we really taking away from these national duels? Ohio State, they beat UNI. They beat
Cornell. And Cornell's a very solid program.
Cornell is a great program.
They have some super solid wrestlers. Wow, yeah. Really.
NC State, like we forget, like NC State was number 2 in the country at a certain point, right? Like Ohio State is starting to knock on the door of like, okay, this is the recruiting class that we all promised you. It's starting to come to fruition. Now, Nick Feldman has not lived up to the hype as far as
small. He's just, I feel like he's small.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess he's small for heavyweight, but he's not making 97 anytime ever. Like he's 230 something pounds. Like it's not like they're pulling him down to 97. It's just, you're saying he's just too short for heavyweight?
No, I just think he's just small, and you can get away with it. You just have to wrestle a certain way.
Right.
Maybe he's not. What does he weigh? Do you know how much he weighs?
He's in 230s for sure.
Yeah. But like when you're wrestling somebody that's like 260, solid, that matters. 30 pounds matters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
For sure.
And I'm not saying you can't be small. There's been tons of small, heavyweights, right? Even Greg, his first couple of years was a very small heavyweight. Now I think he's starting to actually bulk up a little bit. I think he's getting up around that 250.
That's but like I don't know how much more that kid can lift. I mean, he lifts small trucks. I just like here's the thing, right? I don't know if this is common knowledge, but he broke his neck. Like the kid, I mean, I think everyone kind of knows by now, but he broke his freaking neck, and the day before his surgery, I saw it with my own 2 eyes. He had 4 plates on either side and he was squatting it. Like the day before he got spinal surgery, he's got 4 plates on either side and he's squatting it. And I'm like, hey, Nick,
to go a different route. Like we could do like hang cleans or something like that, deadlifts.
I was like, maybe I'm not a doctor. Well, I did get my doctor's in the Philippines, but that's here nor there. But like, dude, I'm not a doctor, but like, maybe you don't right now. I don't know.
Maybe not put all that weight on your neck.
It's bananas to me.
But NC State, Northern Iowa, I bet that was a great match. That's where Camacho hits where he took his 1 loss to, 32 ranked Trevor Anderson from UNI.
Right. And also there was another like weird kind of upset in Ohio State.
McCrone pinned Camacho. That was his 2nd loss.
Right. Oh.
But that was quick, right? That I didn't
I
see
know.
that match, but it's 37 seconds, right? So is that the one he got cradled? Did he get cradled?
I didn't
I
see
think he
it.
did. I think he got a takedown. I seen McCrone. I seen a flow highlight of he had a leg in, moving around, got a cradle locked. I don't know if it was against Camacho or not. I think it might have been. He got a takedown and then a cradle lock somehow.
Yeah.
Leg in cradle position. But that was a
Um,
great. Let's talk about Ohio State, NC State. Let's talk about that rundown a little bit.
Buzakis beats Oreen. Like
Yeah.
that's like that. You want to talk about hot and cold, right? Like that's another one. The kid's
Yeah.
hot and cold. It's really hard. And here we are talking online and making it a thing. But the truth is, he is still a freshman, right?
Yep.
A
And
redshirt freshman.
that is real. Like even though freshmen are doing great,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to manage their life yet.
There's, I
They
think
don't know
it's,
how to
yes.
manage their weight. They don't know how to manage school. And so like everything goes great until all of a sudden we get overwhelmed a little bit. And now all of a sudden, like, oh crap, like I got a lot of things going on. It's hard for me just to focus on wrestling because I fell behind in school a little bit because we were traveling so much.
Sure.
Right. So I got to catch that up. In the meantime, I got to watch my weight. In the meantime, I got to scout my opponents, and it can get overwhelming. So I can easily see where a freshman is hot and cold.
Sure. And also, yes, you're right. All these factors play into it. But the other thing to me, and I was a very small college coach for a little while. I can remember freshmen looking at me in December and going, "What do you mean we don't get 2 pounds?" Like, and then or how about this? They would say, "What do you mean we have 3 more months of this? 3 more months?
When
3
is the
more?"
national tournament? March.
like they're doing math. They're like, "Oh shit. Like there's 3 more months of this." So like it's almost like yeah, they're going to throw you into the table and they're going to do it again. That was the other thing. First weekend of the year, they would look at me in the middle of the first period and go, "We got a minute and a half left of this shit." Like, oh my God. Like, so like, there's just so many different eye-opening experiences that we don't forgive. We don't forgive. No one gives a shit, Buzakis. I'm sorry.
And it's real easy for those guys to like. He's got to be cutting out some weight, right? He's a big dude. He is strong.
Yeah.
So it can be real easy for you to just like let your guard down. It's happened to all of us, right? You get done with the weekend and you go back and you just can't stop eating and drinking. And then all of a sudden you come in Monday morning and you're like, "Oh, I'm 14 pounds over. Sorry."
Yeah.
And then the whole week is just a hard week where you just don't get to put the same nutrients in your body. And when you're a college athlete, the practices, how grueling those are. If you're not fueling your body,
good luck.
Perfectly, like
good luck.
You're gonna get run down. You got people are getting sick left and right too.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, there was some other cool stuff. Talk to me about some of your other matchups that you liked there at NC State. And by the way, Buzakis did have a nice little win there, against NC State. We're making excuses for the kid, but he gets a fall. Like that's pretty good.
So on top, so Ohio State won 21-20, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Bozakis got a pin.
Yeah.
Mendez got a pin.
Yeah.
At the end of the match, right? Yeah. Number 3 versus number 4. I'm gonna have to find. I gotta watch this. I did not watch this duel, but let's just look at I just want to look at the matchups, right? 125. You had 30 ranked over number 1 ranked Camacho, which was an upset, by the way. Then you have 12 ranked versus 5 ranked at 33, another upset. Then you have 3 versus 4, and then you have 5 versus 4. Like your first 4 matches are incredible matches. I did not realize this just because I was like out of town last weekend. I was like daughter soccer trip. I didn't pay attention to it. And holy cow, when I was looking at stuff this week, I was like, man, I got to find a way to watch this duel. 57, you have number 5 versus number 13. it just keeps going down. Then you have a couple weight classes where they were just unranked on either side, but
Yeah,
man,
like 74 to me is actually really interesting. I just want to know what we're getting with this Rocco Welsh kid. I first of all, I spent a ton of time with the Buckeyes last year, right? Like leading up into last season.
yeah,
And so I kind of, I got pretty close to some of the kids, but also some of the coaches. And like, I'm not saying that the jury's out on Rocco Welsh. Like, for sure, the kid is going to be a really solid NCAA wrestler. However, I want to know when. Like, meaning, I want to know if he's the guy that can go out there and make a serious splash as a freshman at
yeah.
174 pounds.
I think he can, because I think he has all the skills. He's
Yeah.
also, I think he's old too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like he's not.
He's got more tattoos than me.
I just turned 17. I just turned 18.
I mean, like,
right before I went to college.
Is.
Like, I just turned 18. Like 18, and then the next day I left, and like I'm at college, right? That's not the case. That's not the case. He might be like 21 years old for all I know.
Yeah,
he looks like he's 21 because
the dude looks like he's older than you, bro. Like,
I don't know him, but Jody Strip Matter, he's a Young Guns guy. He said he is awesome. He's just an incredible human being. So
that's good.
I got to go with my boy Strip Matter on that one. So
yeah, I think so. And then, like, here's like some interesting. And I say interesting because, like, I want these Buckeyes to be really good. I want them to be really good. I want them to be good because I want to go into an NCAA tournament and not know who's going to win the team trophy.
Yeah,
I really do. I like, more than I want air. I want to go into an NCAA tournament and not know who's going to win the NCAA title. And so these certain results, like at 197 pounds, where Trent Hidley techs Luke Geog, I don't love it. Okay. And now I'm not saying I don't love that Trent Hidley is good enough to tech a guy who I have a lot of respect for. I'm just saying, if you really want Ohio State to contend for an NCAA title, you need to have production from these young guys, right? You have to have production from these young guys. And Geog, he got a few starts last year, but he is one of those guys where he has to produce at the NCAA tournament, and getting teched in the third, that's not going to get it done.
Yeah.
What
is he sophomore?
Yeah. True sophomore, right? Like, he is literally from Columbus, Ohio. Like, he goes home for lunch.
Got it.
Like, he can go to his mom's house for lunch. But again, Hidley's a beast, dude. And
but that's a hell of a duel right there. 21-20.
That's a hell of a duel.
Ohio State gets two pins that were like toss-up matches, not just like, hey, I was ranked and I pinned you. You know what I mean? Like, Hidley against 19, you wouldn't think it's a tech fall, but you're thinking major for sure.
Sure.
Right. When you're just looking at somebody that's as decorated as Hidley or Hidley? Hidley. Yeah.
Yeah. And man, Feldman drops one to Treffin.
Yeah.
All right.
He'll find his time.
He will. I truly hope so. Because, like, before that surgery, I really had very high hopes for him. I had very high hopes. Now, I haven't been around, and that's not to say that I don't have high hopes for him now. I just haven't been around him as much this year.
There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, Stanford over Purdue. Stanford's another program that is just, man, they got some dudes.
They got some hammers.
They got some really good wrestlers.
So I would tend to agree with you in the same way of that we were just talking about Pitt. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that they're like kind of the 10 through 20 guys, right? But here's what I love more. I love that he's getting serious production Chris Ayers is in year number 1 is getting buy-in and production out of guys like Nick Stemmet at 97. Okay, who was kind of a journeyman, so to speak. He kind of bounced around the top 20, but he's getting serious production from these guys. And yeah, we all kind of knew that Nico Provo was pretty talented, but didn't know exactly what to think of him. But he's getting consistency.
He didn't wrestle. He didn't wrestle this weekend.
No, I didn't see him at all.
So I don't know. I wonder if he's hurt or if it was some weight issues. It's Christmas time. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, they're moving along. They have some tough wrestlers, and I actually think that the Ivy Leagues always kind of had the shaft a little bit before, right? Like you had to, they would always talk that they were like, we can really only recruit the poor kids or rich kids, like everybody in the middle, which is like 85% of the population. Yeah. Like, it's really hard. Hey, do you want to come to school? You're going to pay $80,000 a year.
Oh, is that all?
That's hard to do, right? That's just hard for somebody with no scholarships available. That's extremely hard. Well, now that you have NIL deals, and you have a lot of people that come from these programs that want to give back, that have really good jobs and are making a lot of money because they're Ivy Leagues, and that's what they do. They support, they support their people. So like with the way it's running, like I could see some of these Ivy League schools.
Well, first of all, Stanford's not technically.
They're not. Yeah, that's right.
Right, but they were in that category of Ivies that couldn't get the middle of the middle class income, couldn't get
and they weren't fully funded. They are now, I believe, but I think when Rob got there, I think he said they have like 5 scholarships.
4.5. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
so
good for them. They're doing great for a program that was cut, basically a couple years ago. Right on.
But here's the thing, right? Like, yes, they're doing the right thing. They have people interested in the program. They're getting a lot of California kids. And here's the other thing. If you make less than $150,000 a year, you go there for free. You go there for free. That's a solid education for free, right? Yeah. Like, I could fudge some W-9s, sir.
I was just thinking the same exact thing.
Look, I can hide it for 4 years. 4 years? Yeah, we'll figure that out. Like, you're going for nothing. Yeah. So, but like, these are the conversations, and like that, I think is one of the conversations that they're having with kids and with families that are making it no brainers, right? Like if we're going to be completely honest, I got a kid. He's pretty good. This kid, Angelo, Posada's. He's going to be great. Like, he's not great yet, but he's going to be great. And it was between Princeton and Stanford, and he's like, first of all, California, right? Second of all, free. It's free. Like, it's like, holy smokes. And the alumni is amazing. The alumni network and the wrestling is good. And, so it's like.
Especially California, man. California guys, they don't want to leave California. They love it.
No, it's hard.
I don't blame them. It's hot.
It's my wife and I talk about.
It's only 42 degrees here in Minnesota.
It's warm today, huh?
It's unheard of. Like, the lakes aren't frozen over yet. All these ice fisher people are like, what the hell, man? It's Christmas. We should be out ice fishing every day. Can't.
Yeah, you can keep that, Jared.
It's been really crazy here. I mean, I'm not going to say it's Southern California, but.
Jared Lawrence, I'm going to the beach today.
Loudy, you're going to the beach? Come on.
Yeah, I'm going to La Jolla today. So I'll take a jog on the beach today. All right. What else do we got, brother man? Oh,
we got Keegan, man. Keegan bumps
that's
up
it.
a
That's
weight
the one.
class.
That's the one. That's the one I want to talk about. Now,
oh my God.
Dude, first of all, I brought that up in the car. So for those of you that don't know, I bring it up a lot. I bring my son, my daughter, and also my neighbor who wrestles for me to school every morning. And Noah is an absolute gem. this kid is he's a gem of a kid. He's one of my favorite human beings on earth, but he's just got like this awesome, unique look at the world. And he's like, I brought it up in the car. I'm like, yo, you guys know Keegan O'Toole bumped from 65 to 74 last night. And Noah goes, that's dumb, coach. That's dumb. I go, why is that dumb? And he goes, that's a lot of weight, coach. That's a lot of weight. And he knows he's a freshman in high school at 175 pounds. So he knows what that feels like. He's, he's kind of in between. So he goes, did it go all right for him? I go, it went very well for him. He beat the number 3 kid in the country. He's like, oh, that's awesome. So here was my biggest takeaway from that entire thing. Okay. I'm going to keep the balls in the air there. I know. Yeah, we'll figure it out. My biggest takeaway from that was, if that isn't one more in a long line of screaming examples as to why we need an NCAA tournament that is a dual meet format, I don't know what is. I don't know why we can't have an NCAA tournament that's duels. Are you muted maybe? Dang it. Oh, wait, hold on. You're muted. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Dang it. Sign off and sign back on. I will keep the balls in the air. So here's the thing to me. Okay. I can't hear you. I got nothing. Oh. Sign off. There you go. Okay. Yeah. The thing to me is it makes a dual meet so much more interesting when you can bump up. Now, did it really matter that much? Check. Let me hear you.
Can you?
I got you. I got you. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So to me, it goes so long to making a dual meet more interesting because you have the ability to bounce kids around. I mean, I know it didn't matter that much, right? Like in other words, it didn't matter because of the score, but we just got to see number 1 at 65 versus number 3 at 74. And my head goes back to Seth Gross, Bryce Meredith. Like, how much fun was that in a dual meet that, let's be honest, nobody really cared that much about Wyoming versus SDSU, right? I mean, nobody. Yeah, it's a cool match. You'd watch it if it's on because you're a wrestling fan. But when you're going to get number 1 at 33 versus number 1 at 41, I'm tuning in, right? Like, even if there's a prospect of that, like, that's huge for the sport. And it's something that we don't tap into enough because there's just no dual meet tournament that matters.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
Askren did it our day. He bumped up from, was it 74 and took on Roger Kish at 84. Roger Kish was a returning national finalist and Askren beat him.
Unbelievable. Like, that's the kind we need more of that.
Duel with it. I just don't know if they did or not.
We need more.
I can't remember.
Yeah. We need to have a lot more of that, Jared Barnes. I just don't see
it. Was good, but I don't know if it was smart, right? It would have worked out great if they would have won, but they ended up losing 65 anyway.
Who cares? Don't care. I don't care. I'm just a fan. Like, I'm not a Mizzou fan. I'm not an Illini fan.
Yeah.
What do I care? I just want to see the best wrestling, right? And like, not only is it great because of the wrestling, I can tell a story now, right? Like, we talked about this quite a bit when we're putting together PNL events. I got to be able, like, my job when I work an event for PNL, I got to be able to tell a story. I can tell a story around Keegan O'Toole being the number one kid in the country, going up to, help his team win. And did it work out? No, it doesn't matter. But that's a story I can tell. So I just don't know what's holding us back. Is it money? Is it Kale? We know it's Kale.
Let's talk about Kale. First of all, when in the process of me trying to grab my phone, I broke my stand. So now, we're having a stage 10 issue.
It looks like Michael J. Fox is holding your phone, bud.
I know. I'm trying to get it to where it's there. Come on, stay. There's a good chance, since my stand is broke, there's a good chance that it might not work. But
that's fine. It works.
We're going to go with it. Where has Penn State been? Like, I haven't heard of them at all.
Oh, they
haven't done anything. I know they have half their team making, they're qualifying for Olympic trials. but we've been taught, this is what, week 7 of us doing this. And the only time that we've talked about Penn State so far has been the All-Star Classic. Mm-hmm. They just haven't done anything. They have not competed hardly at all. Are they going to be at the Southern Scuffle?
I don't think so.
That's the next thing coming up.
I know, but I don't think that they are actually.
Yeah, I did want to take a minute. I don't mean that. Ben Askren's head is already big, right?
Even just without the hair.
With the hair, I mean. Ben, that's what I mean. I mean with the hair.
Got it.
But right now he has a guy, Keegan O'Toole, that just bumps up a weight. Takes on the number 3 guy. Parker Keckheisen, is he ranked? He's ranked number 1 at a couple different weights. A couple different rankings. And they just had a high school kid beat an NCAA champ.
That he's going to be teammates with. Yeah.
Right. So, Ben, good job, buddy. You and Max are doing great things.
Dude, it's kind of cool to watch because I'm not taking away from what Ben is doing, but there are things like that going on all over the country right now.
Yeah.
Like that's really, I sat for an hour with Espo yesterday talking about some of the high level talent at the high school level, right? Luke Lilledal's really, really good. Like
really good.
Really, really good. Anthony Knox, Marcus Blaze, that's one weight class. That's a weight class. That's one weight class.
Yeah.
Marcus
Blaze.
Blaze.
Who's number 1s now? They're going to have like a little mini tournament.
4-man. Yeah, they have to. They have to. Which, I don't know. Whatever. We can cross that bridge when we get to it. But by the way, to answer your question from earlier, Penn State is not going to the Scuffle.
Okay.
So their next event, I'll read you off the rest of their schedule. January 5th against Oregon State, at Oregon State. January 14th at home versus Indiana. January 19th in Ann Arbor against Michigan. January 21 at Michigan State. January 28 at Maryland. February 2nd at home against Ohio State. And February 9th at Iowa in Iowa City. February 12th. So they've got duels. So they have duels on their schedule.
Yeah, they just didn't do a whole lot of tournaments.
No, nothing. The only tournaments.
And the duels are just Big Ten. So that's, you got Michigan, you go to Ohio State, and you got Iowa, right?
Yeah, and then Rutgers and Nebraska.
Iowa, Michigan. Oh, Nebraska too?
Yeah. And Rutgers. Those are all Big Ten duels.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just.
But I guess
they've just been non-existent, really, and as far as what we're talking about, just because they just haven't done a whole lot, which is not on them. Like, they might have done that because they did have a lot of guys that were just wrestling last weekend at the senior national. So maybe that was part of their play all along.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to just hey, we don't need to do a whole lot of these at the beginning of the season. We'll be training freestyle up until now, and now we can get into it and start going folk style, I guess.
Yeah, but it also doesn't hurt when you have 3 Olympic gold medalists as competition for your upper weights, right? Like, you can call upon one of 3 Olympic gold medalists in that room. If you're an upper weight, that seems pretty good. It seems advantageous to winning. Advantageous.
It doesn't hurt. Put it that way.
Doesn't hurt. All right. So let's end it with this. I want to know, because we all agree. I mean, I haven't spoken to one person that disagrees that we need an NCAA sanctioned dual meet national championship. What that looks like, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care what it looks like. But if we don't get it, we're doing ourselves a disservice. We're taking away from the momentum that we're
when
building.
do you do it? When do you think you do it? It would have to probably be almost like
now. Yeah, we do it in between.
You get into the
Christmas
Big Ten season, and then the Big Ten takes that. Like they have total control of that. It would have to be. It should be New Year's.
Yeah.
Like they have college that has bowl games.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's have a national duels.
Yeah. Wait,
all of our listeners. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, it's impossible because we all know, right? Like that's the other thing. And man, without getting too far in the weeds with this, my son and I were having a conversation, and he's bringing up things that are glaring problems in this sport. And he's like, why don't we just do something about it? I'm like, I've been saying that for 35 years, son. I'm exhausted with it. I'm 45 years old. I've been wrestling since I was 10. I've known these things. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So
they used to do it. It's somewhat, right? You could pick and choose. Sometimes it was good. Sometimes it was bad. We need to do it a mandatory national tournament. 80 teams, everybody gets in, and it's going to be a long event. It's going to be a 3-day event. You're going to have to really work, but once you don't have to do all the wrestlebacks.
No, not only that, I don't know if it needs to be 80. I don't know if we need that. I think we need everybody knows who the top 4 team. We got a good idea of the top.
Yeah, you could do a 16 team, like just 4, 100%. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. That's it. That's 2 days worth of work. And it's lights out, man. I gotta tell you, it's just so frustrating as a fan going. We all know that not only would this be,
who do we got to talk to, Mike?
It's Kale.
Who's the person?
It's Kale. Like Kale is from what I understand.
I'm texting right after this.
I would text him, but he doesn't
listen. We just did a podcast, and
we decided that this is what's best, and you need to do it right now.
It's best it's for the fans, people.
You know what would also it would make a ton of money too. Like it would make a ton of money.
It would be fun. You put that place in like Nashville, it's full.
Yeah.
I love Nashville. I don't know why.
Nashville's
every time we meet for piano, I'm like, hey, is anybody? Can Nashville be a place that we do anything at?
Nashville's a dope town, dude. It's a fun town. All right. That'll do it, my brother.
Southern Scuffle. That's what's coming up, right? Southern Scuffle.
Yeah,
there's just not a whole lot coming up around the holidays. Virginia Tech versus Missouri, I believe, is January 2nd. That might be a fun duel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I got for up and coming.
That's pretty much it, though, brother man. All right.
All right. Good
I'll
work.
catch you guys next time. Thank you. See you.
Peace out.